My best business advice for any freelancer, service provider, entrepreneur, content creator, course creator, etc., it's always the same. It's, hey, do you have a YouTube channel? Because if not, you should really consider it. YouTube has done so much for my business. I started my YouTube channel just for fun, and it turned into something so much bigger than I could ever imagine. And I've got receipts. I can pull up my Google Analytics and take a look and see exactly where my purchases are coming from. And they're coming from organic video. And if I drill down even further, it is YouTube. And there is also some direct traffic that comes from an email list, which was totally built because of YouTube. YouTube is such an integral part of my business from all aspects, from the agency side, where I create videos for people and do social media strategy, to the online courses and digital products that I sell. It's amazing. So today I wanted to bring you a conversation with another video marketing expert. Anyway, let's hop into this conversation and talk all things YouTube. So welcome, Gulce. Do you want to tell me a little bit about your TheraBundle offer and what you're including?
Sure. First of all, thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to speak about all things video marketing and YouTube with you today. And my TheraBundle offer is actually about getting started on YouTube. I think this is so relevant these days for both therapists as well as other freelancers and business owners, because as you know, as I know, YouTube is a fabulous place. It's the world's second largest search engine, conveniently owned by Google. And while there is like a big steep learning curve in the beginning, I don't want that to be the main thing that holds people back from actually getting started. So my offer is the 3-day YouTube for Business Bootcamp, where every day we get something tangible done to, help you on this journey of actually starting your YouTube channel.
That's amazing. I love it because I kind of just started YouTube just for fun. So when people ask me, like, hey, how do I get started? It can be really overwhelming because I was just floundering around. I didn't know what I was doing. If I was actually starting a channel intentionally today, I think I would be overwhelmed because it is an overwhelming place to start. So, how did your YouTube journey get started?
Exactly. In a very similar fashion to yours,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be totally honest. I didn't have a camera. I didn't know anything about lighting or sound, or I didn't know what even made a good video. But I just had this thing inside of me for a few years that said, you know what, you should just try and start and see what happens. And that's exactly what I did back in 2019. So it's not even that long ago now when I started my YouTube channel. And at that time, I was full of doubt. I was like, who's even going to listen to me? I'm going to speak to a very, very specific niche audience. Is there even anyone there? Like, am
Yeah.
I just going to be knocking and knocking and knocking and no one's going to answer the door for me? But ultimately, I really did a lot of mindset work around it's okay for me to be visible. It's safe for me to put myself out there. And just me being me and sharing my knowledge, my audience will find me. So I had to build the courage first. And then the
Yep.
confidence followed with practice and with showing up on video. And when I first got my 1,000 subscribers, which is kind of like a big milestone for us
Yeah.
YouTubers, I had a lot of business friends around me that said, wow, that's so awesome that you got started and you seem to be seeing success quite rapidly, which to me felt very slow,
Right.
right?
Yep.
So that's when I got into some one-on-one consulting, helping people create their strategy. And during this period, because I come also from a pretty academic background, I thought, okay, how can I create structures and systems around what I'm actually teaching?
Yep.
So that's basically how my teaching journey, let's say, started, all about YouTube. And that's how my journey started, essentially.
Amazing. Amazing. I love it. And I'm glad you brought up the mindset stuff because we actually have some audience questions about that that I'll get to in a minute. Because I think that's a huge piece of it. Like nowadays, you can use your phone. You can start with your webcam. You can start with a phone. It's usually not the equipment. It's usually something internal. I think that's holding us back.
110%. I mean, these
Yeah.
days, like tech is just secondary, and we all
Yeah.
have phones that are relatively recently purchased. I mean, I say if you have a phone that you purchased within the last 4 or 5 years, you have all the
Yeah.
gear you need literally in your pocket, but it's more about that mindset work and that kind of internal stuff that you have to address and then hopefully work towards improving.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed. You mentioned this a little bit in your intro, but why YouTube? Why should specifically for the people who listen to Freelance Friday, so freelancers, entrepreneurs, even content creators. I have a lot of content creators who listen who are maybe creating TikToks or Instagram reels. Why should they consider YouTube? Why is it the place to be?
Oh my goodness, you're asking the $1 million question right here. I absolutely dislike short form video, and I will get to why in a second, right? I see a little bit of
Yep,
agreement from
me
you,
too.
which gets me really excited. So we're definitely on the same wavelength here. Okay, this is the way I think about everything in a very objective way. Difficult life now, easier life later, and it applies to your marketing. Yes, the learning curve with YouTube is steep. You're going to really hate yourself on camera probably for the first couple of videos. It's going to take a long time for you to maybe properly find your voice, but it's all going to compound for that bigger picture that you have as a vision inside your head as a business owner, as a freelancer. So my question always to ask is like, are you willing to go through temporary discomfort to have a much more fun life later on? And honestly, when you ask that question, 9 times out of 10, people say, yeah, of course, I want an easier life later on.
Yep.
So this is why I think as business owners, we really need to think about the longevity and the purpose of our videos. We don't want to create something because it's trendy, because we want to get a lot of followers and we want to have our 15 minutes of fame, which, there's nothing inherently wrong with that. But if you want to build a long lasting brand, and if you want to actually attract qualified leads and clients for your business that will say, here's my money, take it, I want to work with you. It's all about delivering very educational, value packed, long format YouTube videos. So this is why I'm such a big proponent of starting and growing a YouTube channel. And the good news is, I'm sure you can relate to this. Once you have those long videos, you can chop them into as many shorts as you want. Literally go
Yes.
wild here.
Yes. I don't have time to sit down and record a bunch of short form content. But what's great is I've still been able to build a platform on TikTok and Instagram Reels literally just by repurposing my YouTube videos. I mean, that's 90% of what's on my TikTok is just repurposed clips. So, it gives me content for all those platforms in addition to the long form stuff. And even like blogging, you can transcribe your YouTube, make it a blog, make it a newsletter. I mean, there's so many possibilities with it.
Exactly. And let's be honest, I really want to, hone in the fact that like we don't have a lot of time. You are so absolutely right. And most of us, when we're starting early on, we don't have a team, we don't have
Mm-hmm.
any help. Like it's basically just us and us. Like you have to wear all the hats. You need to create the content, you need to deliver the client projects. You need to do your marketing, you need to do all of these things.
Yep.
So because it's very much like that, like why not just create one potent form of video and then just repurpose it in any shape or form you want?
Absolutely. Okay.
Yeah.
I want to get into a couple of the audience questions because I think they're really good. First one is how to handle imposter syndrome of not feeling like you're the expert or knowing enough to start on YouTube. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yes. So most of the time, people who ask this question are pretty much on the right track in a sense that they probably have enough knowledge to share with the world and they're self-aware enough to even ask this question. So just by hearing this question, my answer is like, if you feel like you have something valuable to share, even if you are only just a few steps ahead of someone, you can share your story, you can inspire and educate people. Just start with what you have where you are right now. So that's one of the big things that I had to get over myself personally, because I was like, who am I to talk about business and career in the Netherlands? I haven't really had my business here for that long. But then I had to stop myself and think, well, I wish I knew someone like me when I started my journey as a business owner in the Netherlands, which is where I'm based. So that was kind of like that mini encouragement I needed to really take the step forward. So really, honestly, just by asking this question, my answer is like, you should get started because I already know that you're a business owner or a freelancer with integrity, and you're just putting yourself out there to share your best knowledge to your best ability where you are now. And then in the future, things might change, and then you will also evolve with every piece of video. And that is the beauty of YouTube.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think what you said about, where they are now kind of is really important because if you're comparing yourself to, the whatever industry you're in, the person who shows up first on Google, you're going to probably be disappointed if you're a beginner. So keeping in mind that you're not talking to the other experts. They may already know the stuff that you're talking about, but how can you help the people who are maybe a couple of steps behind or a couple of years, earlier than you are in their journey? So figure out who you can help, not who you can't help. And yeah, I think there's always space for beginners or smaller platforms too. One of my audience members actually said this to me recently. They said, I actually really prefer to learn from people who are small because their struggles are more similar to mine. When they're looking at people who have 100,000 subscribers or whatever, it can be, so some of the problems they might be facing are going to be different than a beginner. So keep that in mind. Like there's an audience for everyone. That's my 2 cents on it. Okay, the last audience question is this person has social anxiety, so they were wondering if you had any advice for kind of how to just overcome the embarrassment of showing up. Any ways that you center yourself before you get on camera or anything like that.
This is a great one as well. Well, if you really don't want to put yourself on video, there are ways you can create videos without being in them, actually. So if being physically visible on camera is something that really freaks you out and you really don't enjoy it, why push yourself? Look at other creative ways to still make the videos without necessarily putting yourself out there. But if it's more of like, okay, I need a little bit more encouragement because I really want to put myself on camera and I don't quite know how. One of the big things that really startled me was my initial YouTube videos. I was sharing them on Facebook and with some of my friends. And then I quickly realized that no one really cares about it as much as I care about it. And it was such a big blow to my ego because I was spending all my time making these beautiful videos that I really enjoyed making, and everyone else was so busy just living their lives. So I think one piece of the social anxiety is that, you know, everyone is so busy doing their own stuff that no one has even the time, in my opinion, to watch a video from you and then like point out something negative or be mean about it or be nasty about it or like praise you for it.
Mm-hmm.
Over time, as your audience grows, yes, you will have some people who might disagree with you on certain things and who really love you and, become part of your community of like diehard fans. But in the early stages, it's very liberating in a way, knowing that like no one essentially cares. So I think this is a really big thing to just keep in mind if it's really stopping you from getting started. In the beginning, no one cares. That's the beauty of it. You can have fun with your videos.
Yep. Yep. I totally agree. And something else that I think really is helpful is being in a community like yours, taking a course, being with other people, seeing other people do it. That really helps me too. Cause it's like, hey, if that person can do it, why can't I? Or, you might be forming relationships with people that can kind of cheer you on. And that really helps as well. You deserve to take up space, just like all the other people creating out there.
Exactly. And everyone starts from somewhere, really.
Yep.
Like the people you might watch and admire now, trust me, they started with their first video, which probably was nowhere near as good as they are today. I mean, I sometimes watch my first ever published YouTube video and I cringe at myself, and that's part of the growth process. Like if you're not cringing at your videos from your earlier days, you're probably doing something wrong, right? Like you're going to evolve, you're going to get so much better. And I'm sure you've experienced this too when you
Oh
started with
yeah.
your channel, right?
Oh yes. Yes. I always tell the story. I started with a point and shoot. It was like a Samsung digital camera, no audio. My head was cut off. I filmed in the dark. For some reason, I thought it would be a good idea to record at night. Like it was terrible, but it's growth, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
Cool. Well, tell me where people can find you if they want to connect with you.
Yeah, sure. Well, you're more than welcome to check out my content over at YouTube. My channel is called Making It in Holland. I create content about life, career, and business in the Netherlands. So I'm based in the Netherlands, but I'm like a semi-digital nomad. I travel around quite a bit, which is nice. That's one of the beauties of running your own business and being a
Us.
freelancer. You can work wherever you want. If you want to know more information about my business and how I can help with video marketing and YouTube stuff, you can check out videosalesmastery.com.
Amazing. And my last question for you. I think that TheraBundle will be the best $100 that my listeners will spend this month. Tell me why you think TheraBundle is so cool.
I need to say, TheraBundle is like the bundle of all bundles. I was in it last year, so I
Cool.
know how much of an impact it had. It is filled with so many great resources from like starting an email list, growing a YouTube channel, and also more specific things like how to handle client relationships and so much more. But effectively, it's great if you're a therapist, but also it's fabulous if you're a freelancer or a business owner, like me in general, because you're going to learn from genuine experts in their field. And you're going to have so many aha moments. And, $100 for your own business development these days, that's nothing. What's
Mhm.
that? Like 10 coffees at Starbucks. So it's definitely going to be worth the investment. I think if you sign up for the bundle and go through at least 2 or 3 of the products in there, you're probably at least going to see like 100x return in your business.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm like blown away. We got a contributor kind of spreadsheet with all of the products listed out, and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so much that I want to take. So, including yours, I'm definitely going to look through yours too. So, thank you so much for being here. This was so helpful, and can't wait to share your offer with everyone.